Hi, I'm Tiffany Oshinsky.
And I'm Khat Bell.
And this is Serving Pancakes with League One Volleyball. We have a special episode today to recap the inaugural Love Finals Championship match where Love Austin swept Love Omaha 25-19, 25-22, 25-23. Along with my amazing co-host, Khat, who will give us a first-hand look from the championship team. We also have the great Salima Rockwell joining us. So excited to have you here, Salima.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, for the volleyball world, for the volleyball fans, you all know Salima, but I'm going to give a quick background. Salima was a 3-time All-American at Penn State from 1991 to 94 and a 2-time team captain for the U.S. women's national team during her time on the squad from 95 to 99. She then had multiple assistant coaching jobs at Pittsburgh, Penn State, and Texas when Khat was there, and helped the Longhorns win a national title in 2012. Salima retired briefly from coaching in 2018, but got scooped back up in 2022 to become the head coach at Notre Dame, where she still is today. Salima has also announced college and international games and was part of the broadcasting crew for both men's and women's indoor volleyball at the 2024 Summer Olympics. She's also part of the League One Volleyball broadcast crew, and now we get to have her on the show to talk all things Love Finals.
Yeah!
Salima, welcome to Serving Pancakes.
Thank you. Glad to be here. I've watched all the time, and I'm excited to be invited and to be a part of this amazing little thing you guys are doing.
Oh, well, thank you. We're excited to have you
Me
on.
too.
And obviously, you know Khat.
Yeah,
Well.
I think this may be my favorite episode so far. You know, Salima has been such an amazing, inspirational woman to me in my life, and being able to have her on here with us tonight, I'm really excited. So thank you for coming with us, Salima. We love you.
Thanks, Kat.
Oh, it's so sweet. Aw. All right, so Salima, you were in Louisville this weekend.
Yep.
Khat, you obviously were there this weekend because not only did Love Austin play, but you guys won the championship. So I need to know who had the most fun.
Oh, Kat.
Yeah, for sure. My voice is just now starting to kind of come back around, honestly. Like last night, this morning, I couldn't say anything. I was drinking tea and coffee, sucking on these little like honey straws and everything. So we had a great time. Last night was definitely a party.
Now, you said before when we did the recap of the quarterfinals and semifinals that you ladies were ready, that you just could tell.
Yeah.
You had it. You guys clicked. You're ready. So talk to me about coming into the finals. What was it like? Were you guys calm? Was there nerves? Was it just like a hype fest? What was it like?
You know, this season for us has been very up and down, I think. And, you know, you have some of us who are like trying to strive and make everything better. And then some of us kind of like, you know, what are we doing? A lot of confusion. I think once we made that comeback versus Atlanta, the whole environment had changed. And I think everyone at that moment going to that film session versus Omaha, even though we'd played Omaha multiple times over multiple occasions, everybody was just fixated on that screen and locked in. And I think it was one of those moments of like, we're already here. We might as well just finish the job, you know? So it was definitely just a cool environment to be in and just kind of be able to notice my teammates being really focused. And I knew. I was like, oh, yeah. I said, oh, you guys want to play volleyball now, huh? Okay, I see it. Like, I see it. So, yeah.
Salima, what was your experience like?
Well, I mean, first of all, it's rare that I'm just a spectator. So I wasn't calling the matches, and I was on standby in case it went 3, which it did. And I was like, we're going to be here for 5 sets. I'm not even going to have to go on. And after the first set, I was like, uh-oh. But I mean, I was kind of nervous. I can't even describe it. You know, just as an athlete, and you get these matches in these environments where you're like, what's going to happen? Like I was kind of sweating before the match, and I was just excited to see what was going to unfold. I mean, I obviously thought I had some ideas, but, you know, given the season, given what we just saw the night before, you absolutely never know. So it was so fun. I was so jacked and so excited just to see what was going to happen and who was going to win it.
For your prediction of the finals, you said that Austin had a little bit of an edge, and you pointed out specifically Madisen Skinner, too, was the reason why there was that little bit of an edge. And she obviously went off. She was MVP of the match. So let's get into this game a little bit and tell me what you guys saw from Madisen on the court.
You know, I've been able to witness Madisen every day in practice, working on her craft. Having Nicole Fawcett also in the gym is great. Nicole's one of the best to ever do it. So to be able to have her in the gym and being coached by her definitely is a tool that we were able to use at Madisen. And one thing I was telling her, just to grasp that, and whatever Nicole says, it's law, you know? So being able to watch her grow and improve and build her confidence on this stage has been amazing. And she definitely showed that this weekend.
Yeah, you know, I think from my perspective, not being with the team, you're waiting for that, just kind of the shift you talked about, Khat. and in certain people and in their demeanor and in their how they carry themselves, you could just see it. Even, in the semis, it was a different Madisen. And not completely, because she's a phenomenal player, right? You know that she's going to play well. But throughout the course of the season, watching her errors decrease, like unforced error, or second guessing a swing, as a coach and someone that's done it for a long time, you can see that in a player when it's happening. And man, it was just like an aura around her that was like, I am this person now. And you knew, that was why I said it the night, because it's hard to repeat those kind of nights, but you could see it wasn't going to stop. It wasn't going to end. You could feel like if she had 5 more sets to play, she would have had 50 kills, not the 25 in that first, you know what I mean? So that was part of it, but it was also, I also talked about the energy of the team. You could feel, it was palpable, right? And over the course of probably the last month, you could see that it was there. Right? And then they lost 3 5-setters before even getting to the championships. And it was right there for the taking. So I don't know. I just saw this trajectory and I was like, I don't think they're going to slow down.
And we took off. We took off, baby.
I feel like you got the good vibes from Madisen too, because this was her 4th championship in 5 years. Like, she's just bringing the titles. It really helps.
It absolutely helps.
So, Salima, now as a coach, you are able to see, a lot of different things that the fans can't see from their couch. So can you give me some of the big takeaways that you took from this match?
Yeah, one of the biggest things was the passing on the side of Austin. That was another thing that had been kind of their Achilles, right? They had moments where they could do it, but like overall, and Logan Eggleston was just unreal. At the first set, she was like 67% perfect pass. I was keeping track of everything just so I had it in my head, and it was nuts. And I was like, okay, so right now Austin is out passing Omaha. So the serve pass game was completely flipped on its head. So that for me was like, uh-oh, they can't have the firepower that they have and pass the ball well, get their middles involved, that's going to be trouble. So that was one thing that I saw, just overall. That was something that Austin brought, that it was just clean, every phase of the game. And it's like you said, Khat, the lock-in of the film, I could see it. I was like, they are so fully dialed into the scout. It was like, yep, this is where it's going. Yep, this is what's going to happen. We're serving here. We're going to send 2 blockers here. It was a pretty thing to watch, actually, from a coaching standpoint.
Yeah, my favorite part is when Chris asks, he's like, any questions? And the room's silent. He's like, oh, okay. We all know. Yeah, that means we got it.
I was amazed to see how you guys were. Justine is going to Justine, and she was still amazing, but I feel like she wasn't Justine that we saw the past 2 nights. I feel like you guys somehow managed to get past her or to have her pass off the net a lot, and I was just like, they got this. They came with that fire.
We talked about a lot about that, because Justine is their armor when it comes to passing well as Gov, so we talked about just saying, okay, we don't want to serve the libero, obviously, it's who she is, but when you can, dump one in there just to catch her off guard, and that's what was happening. So we would every 4 to 5 serves, we'd launch one at her, and then she wasn't expecting it when we get them out of the system a little bit. So it definitely helped. That was part of the game plan.
Khat, Austin basically kind of took over this match, right? I don't even think Omaha led until the 3rd set when they got that first point. That's how dominant you guys were. So in those first 2 sets, when Omaha was calling those timeouts, what was kind of being said?
Just being patient, staying in the course. That's actually funny that you said that, because also in the 3rd set when they got that first point, it shook me a little bit because I was like, oh, wait. Every set before this one, we've always got the first 1 or 2 points first. So, it was okay. And they're trying to figure some stuff out, but let's just keep doing what we're doing, stay focused. The biggest thing was just staying focused. I think during the 3rd set, kind of towards the middle, we kind of broke down a little bit in passing and miscommunication, almost like we were forgetting what we were doing. And we had to kind of come back together and say, okay, you know what? Let's refocus, regroup here, remember what we're doing, what our jobs are, and then go back out there and do it. So, just trying to be patient. I just tell them, just be patient, be patient, be patient.
Salima, if you were Coach Susie Fritz on Omaha, how would you have handled those timeouts?
Well, it's hard when someone's bringing their A game at you, right? You have to weather the storm a little bit, right? You're like, okay, They're playing their best volleyball. And quite frankly, it's hard to sustain that level of play set to set to set, you know? And it's like, all right, hey, we're going to settle in here. It was really their passing. They got so pin dominant. It was so heavy. When they caught up is when they were able to get Sammy the ball a little bit in the middle. When those moments you were talking about, Khat, where things broke down on your side of hair. Mm-hmm. But that's what they needed to do. And so, you know, my conversation is, hey, we're just going to have to be patient. Madisen's going to get her bomb kills. That's okay. You know, but we got to be smart with what we're doing around their block. That's the problem, too. There were so many things that they were doing well. Number one blocking team, you know they're going to block well. But we've got to chip. We've got to tool. We got to make some stuff happen. And, shoot, they were trying, but Austin was just smothering, you know, surrounding. I mean, what was it, 16 blocks? I don't even remember. I think it was 16 blocks.
Me either.
I just kept going, oh my gosh, no, we're in set 2. It's 9, 10, 11, wow. So that's what I would say. Hey, let's be a little more patient with our swings. Let's just high and flat. And I'm sure she's having those conversations. Sometimes it's hard to do. When you're way off the net, you're way out of system, it's just hard.
Yeah, for sure. As a former volleyball player and as a coach, when you were on the sideline watching, like, did you just want to get down there, whether it was like to play or to like to be on the sideline to like talk to them?
You have no idea. I always want to get down. I want to be on the court. You don't understand. Like, not coaching them because, no, I just want to try to help. But they'd have to pass perfectly for me to actually help and be able to set something. I can't really run that fast. But, like, I'm always like, like, I'm a crazy person watching volleyball. So, you know, and you wanted it to be a really, really compelling match, and you wanted Omaha to do well. You know, you wanted to see that battle of these teams. So there's so many things going through your mind, you know? Like, it's cool to see this team dominate and finally figure it out, but then it's like, oh, this kind of stinks for Omaha right now. You know, I went through a lot of emotions. It was a roller coaster for me, but it was fun.
We had a watch party, so we had like a bunch of our friends over and their kids, and like the moms, we all play volleyball, and so we were all like, after the second set, we're like, you know, we're cheering for you, Khat, we're cheering for Austin in that regard, but I'm like, we all want Omaha to kind of like win a set, because we're like, we don't want this to end yet. Like we wanted to keep watching.
No, everyone, you guys, see, you know what? I can feel that from the bench. I can feel there was like that wishful thinking of that hope that maybe Omaha could just, no, let us be in and out. I'm telling you, I was like, we're not going to 4 or 5 because I'm like, this is, no, I don't even want the headache.
And that's real though, right, Khat? Like, it's like,
yeah,
we give up this set, anything.
It gets shaky. Yeah, you know, it's like, I was like, keep your freaking foot on their necks. Like, keep going, you know, just at one point, even if in the third set, and the score was tight and it was tied up at one point, and I was like, yo, hey, I was getting mad. I looked at Anna, looked at her in her eyes. She looked kind of scared, but yo, I'm gonna need you to do that out there right now. So
it was one of those tight points, and you guys were about to serve, and Molly got in that Molly stance. She just got like crouching tiger, like she's just, like a little more like ready to pounce. I was like, Molly, something's about to happen here. Cause
I was yelling too. I was like, show me something, Molly, show me.
Oh man,
come on. I get chills again. That was so crazy. It still feels like a dream, honestly. Like, I was, this morning, all day today, I was just telling Tiffany, I finally just kind of feel tired because I've been on such a high all day. I mean, I woke up, like, smiling, you know? And I almost feel bad because I know, like, everyone wanted to win. And I know there was teams that obviously played well the entire season and probably were predicted to be in the finals, that kind of stuff, too. So I was telling Micah Hancock last night, I almost feel bad about, like, being happy or, like, you know, around people. And she was like, forget that. She was like, dude, like, that's part of the game. She was like, you guys earned it tonight. You know, it doesn't matter. You guys came out tonight and played your best. And she's like, that's part of it. She's like, no, like, talk your stuff. And I was like, yeah, you're right.
And it's you're so ridiculous. And it's such a lesson. Khat, this is what I love about so many young players watching that. Young players, college players, right? It is such a lesson in how the game, you can just leave one game behind you, one part of a season, one thing, it can always start over. You can always shift things. You can always make something happen. And I think that's, you know, the cool part of your season was it was nuts. It was crazy and it was not great and it was all over the place and you were struggling and then still losing and trying to figure it out. Like, what a cool storybook ending, you know, like, It was a pretty neat moment. Would have been cool if the number 1 seed won. Like, that would have been awesome. They dominated and woo. But like, all the stories would have been intriguing and compelling. But that's just really, like you said, that's the game, you know? You never know.
Yeah, we're saying we pulled out the biggest heist of 2025 right now. It's giving robbery. I said we all should be in jail. That's how bad. It's giving robbery. Like the biggest heist of 2025. Biggest heist. Bamboozled the league.
Bamboozled. Who says bamboozled? You're not
Me.
But not only bamboozled the league, but you also came away with $200,000, a Tiffany necklace, and a Tiffany shirt. You literally stole from this league.
No, but for real. I asked Tom, I was like, how much does the necklace cost? I was like, I know the necklace costs a lot of money. So
it was a necklace? I didn't see it.
Yeah, it's a Tiffany's necklace. It's gold. It has it's like, they have one that's like a small, it looks like a smile to me. That's what it looks like. And they have one that's small, but we have the big one. The big one has a little nice price tag on it. So I looked it up.
Of course you did.
I looked it up. I wanted to make sure. What's around my neck? I need to know. I had to look it up.
Oh my gosh. I want to know, because like, I've never won a championship, right? Like, I've won my beer league championships, but that's completely different than like confetti falling from the sky.
It's something. It's something.
Yeah, I get a $125 gift card to the bar, which is great. But it's not confetti falling on the court. It's not all of a sudden camera flashes and people putting cameras in your face and cheering for you and everyone like crying in tears and happiness and like hoisting a giant trophy. So I want to know, like, what is it like once you win that title? Take me through the process as a player of like what happens next, because I have no idea.
I mean, honestly, it's almost like a blackout, once you realize that the game is over and that you actually won, you're just overwhelmed with so many emotions, and you're just trying to get in that huddle, or like, we didn't do a dog pile because I think we're all too old for dog piles. And I think that would have been
smart.
Terrible. A graveyard. Bodies just would have been on the ground and not gonna be able to get that. But there's so many emotions. And again, I don't even think I really settled into it until maybe I still haven't. Honestly, I still haven't. I'm still processing the whole thing. But you're just being in that moment and living in those moments with your friends and your teammates, and just embracing each other and just taking it all in. I think you don't really see the cameras. You don't really see everyone looking at you, cheering for you. Yeah, you see the confetti, but it's like when you catch those eyes, the ones that you've been in the gym with, for the past however many months you've been training with, and and understand the grit you guys have gone through to get to where you are now. That's just where it is. So.
Yeah. Salima, did you feel like a proud mama watching Khat out there with that trophy with the confetti falling?
I sure do. All the time I feel like a proud mama. I'm just, and it's another podcast or whatever this is. That's a whole, just her development and her growth as a person and as a human and as all the things.
Lima knew when I was bad. Lima knew me when I was bad. I wasn't bad. Yeah.
You just got to rein Khat in a little bit. Come on in. The meeting's right. Where Khat at? But no, it was just cool. I really was more overwhelmed with just how cool the league was and the culmination of everything and the finality of it. It was such an awesome experience, an awesome year. I feel so fortunate to have been a part of it and to have been on so many matches and to even get closer with players I never coached. I recruited a lot of these players. They didn't all come to where I was, but I knew a lot. And I don't know, for me, it's so rewarding to see them all grow and develop, and these amazing women. These are grown women that are out there just crushing it. And it's just, when you see the babies and the kids and all, everyone's got Carly's kids and, what are we doing? Julianne, and it's overwhelming, it's cool. I know, Khat.
No kids. Yeah, no kids. No.
All the things. And even the Omaha team. I'm really close with Jordan Larson. I love Justine. We have a good relationship and Lauren Stiverns. And I just feel connected to everybody. And so, I don't know. It was a lot. I felt it was tough and it was awesome and it was a lot.
So you've been around a lot of volleyball leagues, a lot of volleyball teams, players and stuff. I'm curious what your thought was overall of this league in this inaugural year. Because, it was the first year, right? There's going to be hiccups for everything in the first year. But I'm just curious, With everything that you've seen, what did you think?
Oh, I thought it was incredible. I mean, the level of play, like every time I was calling a match, I'm like, this is crazy. Like that's what I was thinking in my head. I wanted to say it every play, but I was like, how did you dig that ball? Like what is happening right now? And then I'm like, I need to go back to my gym. We got to get better. Like all the things. But I just thought the level, top to bottom, like, and mostly there was so much, but like the defense was crazy this season. Like these women are crushing the ball, like bouncing, and they're just scooping, like middle back scoop perfect. I'm like, what is that? Like it looked Kelsey Robinson Cook. Like what are you doing?
The digging and transition this season was crazy. That was insane.
What's happening? Like that was for me probably the most impressive thing. Like not just digging, like the quality of the touch, the ability to get a swing on, like a good swing off of it all season long. Sorry, I'm getting all fired up about it. That was like, holy moly. So what was the question? It was great.
About the league. Like,
what am I even talking about?
About the league and then your perspective of it. And I 100% agree with you. I feel like that was one of the things that I absolutely loved about watching this league was, as you said, the defense. Because to me, I love a long rally. I love a long rally. And as like a libero, to me, I'm just like all about the defense. So the longer you can keep the ball in the air, I'm like, let's go.
Yeah, it was amazing. And just, it was cool.
Going back to the match real quick, I'm curious because, we mentioned Logan, we mentioned obviously Madisen Skinner, but tell me who from this match did you kind of think was an unsung hero, someone who like deserves a little bit of recognition, whose name hasn't really come out that much?
I'm going to say my vote is for Carlie Lloyd. Carlie has been a soldier this entire season. And, we haven't seen a lot of her, starting a lot this season, but to be able to start that match in the finals was very well deserved, and it was a given, She ran a great offense coming in for Sage versus Atlanta, and it only made sense to start her for the finals, and she was fantastic. So I would definitely say Carlie Lloyd.
I would agree. I mean, I've seen her for a million years. Honestly, that might be one of the best matches, the cleanest matches I've seen her play. I don't know, I might be crazy, but like, every ball was located exactly where it needed to be, how she was blocking, how she was leading. It was so good. It was so good. So I agree with you, Khat.
Yeah.
She played out of her mind.
Carlie has one of those very intense personalities. And to see her last night, it was almost like she was calm and she was in her rhythm. It was almost like she was in her skin, And that was one thing I was talking to her about after the Atlanta match. I was like, dude, you've always had this in you. You know what I'm saying? Like, keep driving off of that. Like, you don't have to overthink anything. Like, this is who you are, and be able to witness her out there and play the way she did. We've been talking about this rally since yesterday about, it was kind of a long rally, and then she just took advantage of the point herself and dumped the ball and was like, come on, we'll stop messing around, stop playing with our food, let's put it away. So she was fantastic last night.
That's what setters do though, Khat.
I said too a little bit. I do a little razzle dazzle. I do a little.
The claws.
Yeah, the claws.
What about on Omaha? I want to give them a little bit of love. So who on Omaha do you want to give a shout out to because of their performance in the finals?
Yeah, I mean, you have to give Jordan Larson so much credit all the time. I mean, she was getting tons of swings, because they had to, right? The ball was off the net a lot. And she was just she was doing everything she possibly could to make it happen for her team, right? To will her team into a victory. So I'm always in tune with kind of that piece of it when things aren't going well on the other side. That was tough. But Sammy Francis stepped up, yes. And she got her stuff done, right? She's good, man.
Yeah, she is.
She was really good in the semis. And I think they're overall, they started to find a little bit of a groove as a team, but I don't know. I probably would say, Jordan Larson.
Yeah, I agree. I would say Jordan as well as Sammy. Like I said, it's a high pressure situation. And again, we haven't seen a lot of Sammy this season as well too. So for her to come in and do what she did and put on the showcase that she did for herself was great. So definitely those two women.
Mm-hmm. All right. So going back to the season overall, can you guys share what some of your favorite moments were?
Obviously, mine.
Obviously winning.
was winning, obviously. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go back to the moment in the video room, just being able to see everyone really bought in. And I think that was honestly the first time I can actually say we were all on the same page this entire season. And that was just so cool to witness and so cool to feel. I just knew it in my soul. I was like, oh, y'all are about that action tomorrow. Like, I already know. Like, it's not even going to be the battle was won. You know what I'm saying? The battle was already won. That was one of the things we kept saying, throughout the week too. So being in that room in that moment was very meant a lot to me. Meant a lot.
That's cool. That's a cool feeling. I don't know if it's like one defining, but really there were a couple of moments, certainly when Madisen was able to flip the script on what was going on with them. Like, Annie was struggling with her shoulder. They were just they couldn't get their offense going. And I just felt like it was so tough. It was tough to watch, and you felt for them, right? And then Annie comes back, Lauren's in her mode. And when Annie was good and Carlini was just being able to set, like instead of having to feel like, what do I do now? What do I do? I didn't even ask her about that. That's just my perspective. Everything shifted. So that was a cool thing. I was like, thank goodness they figured it out, righted the ship, and they were on a tear. So I don't know. That was a neat moment for me, from a team's perspective, seeing them figure it out and turn it around this season. That was one that stood out.
Yeah, the Madisen turnaround was really cool to watch because I was thinking to myself, I was like, oh man, I don't want to have one team that's just like struggling so much with only one win this season. Then all of a sudden they're like, oh, watch out, Houston. Like, we might take your number 2 spot in this.
It's a close call.
Let's go.
Very close call.
Close. Mm-hmm.
So what from this season that you guys saw are you hoping that the league takes to next year, to year 2? Or what are some things that you're hoping to, see that didn't happen this year?
One thing I really do appreciate from NCAA, I don't know if it's a certain mic that they use, but the ball, like from the contact off the ball in NCAA, watching on TV is loud. And I would love to hear that like pounding on the screen. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully that's something I would like to see kind of adjusted for us. Also, the players box, the bench box. I didn't like that we had to kind of go to the back. I didn't follow the rules. I did not. But I made sure I was not in people's way, But that's something we can actually kind of move forward a little bit. Other than that, I think like just continue and bring in great athletes and great professional athletes to represent the league so well and compete hard and continue bringing in an audience and just enjoying this opportunity just being here in the States.
Yeah, no, those are good things. And Khat, I know there's some talk. We were trying to get some different mic things. We're like, all right.
You know what I'm talking about though, right?
Exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about. And because there were so many matches.
Yeah.
And sometimes we were like, stretched thin with camera or mics or whatever it was, or how many were at each site. It was like, okay, we can do this if. And so those are some things they're working on. Even hearing you guys, like that's what I wanted to hear.
Yeah.
The chatter.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's just listen to them in between plays, so hopefully, I'm not saying it's coming. I also want it, so I'll work on.
Yeah, I would say less fog machine, more mics.
I love it.
Less smoke in the back.
I understand. And I agree with you. Bring in players, and Rosie, who's the president of League One Pro Volleyball, she alluded to that we did a little press conference yesterday that, there'll be some big time players coming in. She didn't give out away any secrets, but some really good things.
I know a few.
I bet you do.
I will.
So that would be good. And like you said, I know their focus was getting the players, getting the right players, getting this, everything they were doing with ESPN and focusing on getting the right coaches, like so many things. And now the marketing push is going to be huge. That's going to be fun to watch the audiences grow and just the whole game grow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Actually, Khat, because you did have some foreign players on your team like Koto, what did they think about this first year playing in the United States?
They honestly are going to stay around for a little bit, actually. They enjoy it. They love being here, actually. I think it was such a different environment for Koto. She did because in Japan, practices are a lot longer, a lot more brutal as well. So she was like, oh, just 2 hours, that's it? Yeah, girl, go drink some water. It's fine. Like, no one's going to yell at me? No, we ain't doing that over here. It's fine. So, but yeah, I think they really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to next season.
Amazing. And the off season is here now until preseason starts in October, I believe. So, Khat, what are you doing this off season?
So currently I signed a contract to play for Caguas Criollas here in Puerto Rico. So that's the off season is playing. I'm going to run some camps, big time camps with some of the Love athletes this summer. And then I'll be participating in the AU league as well before we start up our preseason.
And you get to play against Chi in this Puerto Rican.
Yeah, it's been announced that Chiaka's playing for Guaynabo, which is the team we play on. So it's the semifinals right now. My team is up 3-2 in the series. So Chi has to win just to play again to go to the finals. So I told Chi, just pack, carry on, because you're going home on the weekend. So just pack swimsuits for vacation.
You're ridiculous. When do you play? When's the first match?
We play Wednesday.
This Wednesday.
Yeah, So we're if we win, we go to the finals, and then I just got news as well that Molly may be negotiating a contract with the team that's already in the finals as well. So she was like, you know what? Because we get paid by the match. She's like, you don't want to make it interesting? No, thank you. I wanna just 3-0. I want to just go home. I just want to do the game.
The sweep streak going.
Yeah, it's fine.
That's incredible.
So I just said, just pack a light bag. Sort of pack lightly.
Amazing. Well, Salima, Khat, it's been a pleasure talking finals, talking League One Volleyball, and wrapping this season up with you two. Khat, it's been so fun having you on the podcast this season.
Thanks. I've enjoyed my time. Thank you.
And thank you guys so much. And thanks to all the listeners. We're going to be taking a break this off season. But thank you, ladies.
Yeah.
And
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching Serving Pancakes. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. You can also listen to the podcast version on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.